Please welcome Michelle Armstrong. Michelle, come on up. Oh, hi. Welcome. Good to see you. Thank you. Tell us what Finn the Panda is and what does he do?
Well, Finn the Panda is a special gift for babies and children in the hospital. I developed him after my son Finn was in the hospital. He was born premature, and he was in the NICU for 2 months and then had RSV and was back in PICU for 10 more days later on and had a surgery. So after that, I needed something to put my energy into and wanted to help other families in similar situations. So I developed the Panda. He has a removable scent patch. Sorry, this is my Finn's there, so it's covered in peanut butter. But that comes off. Mom can wear it under her shirt or Dad can wear it, and then you reattach it or set it in the incubator. And then they can smell you, which is known to help with bonding and comfort for babies and children. And then it has a recording device that records up to a minute, and that's definitely my 4-year-old doing some fart noises, because 4-year-olds love it too. But yeah, it's intended for like lullabies and singing to your baby or reading books, or like if brother or sister can't come into the hospital, they can send a message. But the singing, especially mom's voice, is known, research has shown it brings down cortisol levels, so there's stress hormone. Yeah. So if they're getting a blood draw or even just a diaper change can be kind of stressful, and you're not there, the nurse can play your voice so they can hear you. It's antimicrobial, so it's safe, and it is black and white to appeal to babies' early vision.
So you just threw this together and you kind of knew all that stuff right away.
Well, I saw it firsthand with my son. I had one song that I sang over and over and over again. The nurses all knew it by heart because I sang it so much. And anytime they were doing something, I couldn't hold him in the beginning, but I could get real close to him and sing real soft. Yeah. And he would immediately stop crying or just calm. And I would bring my own cloths in for him to have my smell, and that would help.
I didn't think about the smell. I didn't think about the smell thing when my boy was there. Yeah. And it is a huge.
Yeah, and for preemies especially, to bond with their mom even when they can't. Yeah. Be there all the time. So.
And that's kind of how we met. As well, this wasn't around when my Cohen was in the hospital, but he recently had to go. Oh, brother.
Are you going to cry?
Went back. And we got this before I knew you, and I was like, wow, what is this? And then we got teamed up to do a thing through a mutual friend, and I was like, oh my gosh, you have to come on the show and talk about this. You're the bear girl, yeah. So you can, obviously, it's a little weird if you're in a situation where your child is in the hospital and you're like, what could I get? Like, there's a bunch of different options to like purchase the bear, and then you've done a bunch of different things to get the bear out and known, right?
Yes, yeah.
Such as?
Well, it's really intended to be a gift. So the company is Finn & Co. Gifts, because when I was in the hospital with my son, I'm not Googling like, what's a good gift for myself?
That's what
to my child. So it was intended for like, grandma buys it, your aunt, your best friend, your sister, to help people in a difficult time when they, aren't really thinking about those things that they can do. And ideally, I'd like to see it in hospitals, that it's something they hand to the parent, not only for the baby's sake, but also because it's so overwhelming. There's this tiny, fragile baby, and you just want to be a parent to them, but you're afraid to even touch them.
A lot of times you can't.
You can't touch them.
I didn't get to hold Cohen for a month.
Yeah, exactly. So to tell them that even though this doesn't look like what you had hoped, you are a part of the healing process. Your voice, your smell, everything does something.
Anything you can do in those key early stages like that, every little bit helps. And that's huge. It could be all the difference.
It's intimidating, and the doctors are there to keep your baby alive, but you have healing powers for him as well, even though you don't have a medical degree.
Exactly. And that's how I received it. It was just in our room, and I was like, who gave us this?
Yeah, Sacred Heart purchased about 20 that they're just giving out to appropriate families, and I hope to to get into more hospitals.
You recently also just had a sell to
Ronald McDonald House. So how I did that one, for Christmas I wanted to donate a bunch of bears, and I thought Ronald McDonald House would be appropriate because that's families who, they have to live, I think, at least 40 miles away from the hospital, and then they can stay in the house. But then that means that brothers and sisters are still far away, or maybe dad's working and he's at home, but mom's in the Ronald McDonald House. So I called and I found out they have 22 rooms, and so I did a social media, and you can sponsor a bear, and it'll be given to a local family. And so for every sponsored bear, I donated a bear, and we were able to give 38 bears to families at the Ronald McDonald House.
That's so cool. Isn't that great? Oh, man. Yeah, like, and, you know, most parents you're just kind of thrust into this situation and you don't know what to do and how to cope. Like, how did you cope? You were telling me about the cake thing, and it kind of gets a little dark with the humor.
My husband and I, we used some dark humor to survive it. You know, we all have our coping mechanisms. We did a lot of prayer, a little bit of bourbon, and you know, just kind of surviving the days. There was one woman that I would come in, you know, I'm pumping through the night and I'm rushing in to try to get to the 6 a.m. where they do their rounds and the doctor comes and talks about your baby, and I've had my own emergency C-section, I had 5 blood transfusions, and I'm just a wreck through all of this. And so you actually have to wait at a door to get in to see your baby because there's like safety protocol. So we're standing there and calling, and I'm just completely haggard and wrecked, and there's this other mom that she always comes in and she's got her hair done and her makeup done and she's got her little heels on and she's always smiling, and I'm just like, what is going on? Like, I am obviously not feeling this. So I asked my nurse that day, and I'm like, who is this chick? And she's like, oh, the Disney princess. She's like, there's birds that wait at the window before she gets there, and the mice bring her their snacks and stuff, because she just was on a different level. But I asked if the nurse could ask her if she'd come talk to me and kind of tell me what her secret was. And it was her second preemie, so she'd been through it before, and she just kind of knew how to not put the stress on herself as much, to be there every minute, but to take care of herself and to sleep and get ready and go into it looking forward to the time with her child. And she said something, she said, you know, this was my second as well. She said, we're so blessed to just sit here and hold our babies all day or be with them all day. Like, what mom gets to do that with their second? And I was like, well, that's not how I was looking at it, but that is a great perspective. So
that's cool. Well, there's the website, which is FinnandCoGifts.com, and then you have an Instagram. And a Facebook, Finn and Co Gifts. You brought some with you? I
brought some bears. So you can go on the website, or here you can sponsor a bear for a family. You can say what hospital you want it to go to, or you can get one for somebody you know. It's designed for babies in the hospital, but I have found, like, I use it with my son. Like, I'm not there for bedtime tonight. He can play mom's lullaby. You know, babies that have separation anxiety, or older kids who just want the comfort too. So.
Really, it's a really amazing gift if you want to make a difference. Especially, it's so cool that it's a local thing, and I'm really just proud of you for making such a cool thing. And I know that's kind of weird to say, but it's very sweet. And you know, it was a really nice surprise because my son, we had to go to Portland. My wife had a C-section, and so it was just he and I who went, and I don't know what the hell I was doing. And the doctor had no bedside manner, and just said horrible I mean, he wasn't mean to me, but he was just like, what do you want to do if this baby dies, you know? And I'm like, die too? Like, I don't know. So something like this can be like a very big comfort for somebody going through a really hard time, and it's really special and unique. So please, if you feel have the means, go sponsor a bear or buy some, or help get this going because it's such a great idea. And Michelle, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank
Michelle
you, Brian.
Armstrong, everybody. Thank you. Sorry. Good job holding it together.